as now they go with a run. Etienne, he has space as he breaks to the outside by diving Newsome. We're looking for angles. Hodgins does not get there. Injury. So it must have just been the player came down on it hard as Chuba gets into the end zone. Lawrence with a clean pocket though as I say it, away. Threes, we come out with the goal line set and Chuba is in. He gets it in there, but unfortunately it's not. As Michaels, he somehow slips the two defenders. He's running down the sideline as McCullough, he's not gonna catch him. Opposite for ourselves though, that one's gonna cost him. Hand it off. And we will swing it out to Hill, who has space to the outside. Instant rush, forces another throw, it's picked off. We send the blitz, and it's thrown. They will throw to the outside. Kirk, he gets by Brothers. He's speeding down the sideline as we do not get back. It's thrown out to Faust, who is close to the first down, but they're gonna say he doesn't have it? That was a first down, which we should have then been able to call that timeout and had at least one more play to find the end zone. And coming off of such a great game, competitive game, Super Bowl rematch, that unfortunately saw us not only lose the game 31-27 after a great fourth quarter from the Jacksonville Jaguars, it also saw us lose our starting quarterback for the next couple weeks. Now, we are pretty lucky that it is just going to be those few weeks, not actually a couple, 3 games with a foot fracture. Could have been much worse, but that does mean that we had to sign a new quarterback. And to help fill that spot, it is Matt Corral. Now, we looked at a couple different options, but Corral I think was actually the best all-around scheme fit for how we want our offense. He's a 67, so he's not higher overall than Duggan. Gonna try to make sure I pronounce that correctly this game. But he has the arm power while he still has a pretty decent amount of mobility, and the accuracies are actually the best around the board. There were some guys with better short or better medium, but the deep was well lacking. Corral is gonna give us the best opportunity if he has to see the field for just an average field general. But with Duggan actually playing pretty well in the last game and very well knowing the system, we're going to stick with him in this game. The ratings between the two very similar. We're gonna have a little bit less throw power with Duggan, but more speed, agility if we choose to use it. And we're gonna talk once we get into the game about how the offense is changing for these next few weeks. But to make room for adding a new quarterback, we had to move on from a player, and that's going to be Devontae Johnson, the corner. It was a plan in the offseason to move on from him. We ended up not really selling any of our players to get higher picks in the draft, so instead we traded with the Eagles, and he's actually going to go in and be a starting corner for him. So it's an upgrade for him, and we are getting a 3rd and a 6th round pick, and well, 6th round in this next draft, 3rd in the future, because they didn't have anything great for this next draft class. So a 4th string corner bringing in a 3rd round pick for us, that seems like a trade in which we win. But speaking of Eagles, we're actually playing against their rival today in the Giants. They have 3 guys over 90 overall in Barkley, Thomas, and Lawrence. So their main guys have kind of stayed the same. They do have a new quarterback, though Daniel Jones still there. He's just the backup. His weapons through the air, well, you're going to have Jahan Dotson and Donovan Peoples-Jones, plus Romeo Doubs. All 3 very similar overall, and honestly, you could even throw in Chenault, who maybe we will see, formerly of the Panthers. He won a Super Bowl with us. Now we might be playing against him today. They also have Cade Otton, a promising tight end from one of our rivals in the Buccaneers. And obviously with Thomas, you're going to have a pretty good start to the offensive line. And just across the board, it's pretty solid, though not too great at right tackle. They maybe will have to slot someone in like Cesar Cruz. Defensively, again, going to be kind of that same mentality. Unfortunately, Franklin is out with an injury, so we're going to see the vet in Smith. Right-hand side, they have Mendoza, solid young guy there in his 2nd year. Then, of course, you have Lawrence. They also have another good guy here in Pearson. So it's a pretty good front 7 for them with Steve Jackson on one side and Thibodeau on the other. Off-ball, Bobby Okereke, always love a good Stanford player. Then you get to the DBs, and it's probably not their best group, but it's still a pretty solid group around the board. And they've started off 2-0. Meanwhile, we dropped that last game, so we're 1-1. It's mostly been their offense doing work, so it's going to be up to our defense to keep us in this game, and most likely Chuba Hubbard to carry the offense. Let's get this one underway as Ford boots us off. They got Dane back to return, and he will take the knee. So it's going to be our defense out first as Inzerma and this Giants offense head on out. It's been a pretty clean start to the season for their offense. 5 touchdowns through the air for Inzerma, no interceptions, though we started week 1 with 5 interceptions. I would love to force some turnovers in this one, which would probably help out our offense. Though obviously, we've got to contain with Saquon Barkley. He went over 130 last week. Need to limit him as he starts us off with a gain of 9. RPO off of it, they find, I believe that is the tight end in Otten. Now, while both of our offense and defense pretty similar in overall, I feel like it's been our defense who has been the better of both sides, and we're going to need that today as it's Stockton biting the ankles of Saquon. Makes it extremely difficult for the referees to throw a flag on you when you're laying on the ground and just grab an ankle, leaving 2nd and 12 as they go to the air. Check it down and through the hands of Otten. Now, at least one thing that the defense does need to work on a little bit here is pass rush. We haven't produced much of that to start this season. Would love more of it. As it's 3rd and long here, they go with the screen. A clean tackle there from Brothers. And with that, we're going to get our offense out on the field. Duggan, not the clipboard holder today. Instead, he is starting, and he started a few games with us throughout his career. As we start with Chuba, as mentioned, that's where we're going to go early and often. However, we will have some passing, and that passing is going to be by means of screen passes, especially with the heavy blitz of this Giants defense as we go to the halfback during Chuba. He bounces to the outside, shakes off Okereke, and will maybe get another yard there after. But I would imagine a pretty heavy rotation at the running back spot today with us focusing in on that, and then again trying to get these receivers going with some screen passes. RPO that time, just another gain of 1. It's really been Chuba and Bobby pretty much every play for us so far. We'll see if that goes here, but we're going to attack him with this RPO. We have Faust going on the slant. That will draw him back, and Chuba will pick up at least more than 1. Now, we do end up calling a pretty early timeout to set up a 3rd and 6. Essentially, we need to get Chuba Hubbard ready for a play as he goes out to the receiver spot. As we look for the screen, he slips nearly between but keeps those legs moving for the first down. That is what we need from him. Again, right now, he is our offense. He has been really throughout the series, relying a lot on him compared to receivers, but even more so now. Great play. We'll check him out. Barry comes in. He picks up 6. Now, it really is going to be a test today with the interior rushing game. Again, a lot of really good front 7 guys here for the Giants defense. So we need to find ways around all of that while dealing with our quarterback drama. As Duggan just looking to roll here, he dumps it off for Winters, and it will be a catch, making it a 3rd and inches. We've had Winters for, I believe this is his 3rd season with us. Maybe it's just his 2nd, but we've gotten him a lot more involved as his time with us has gone on, as Barry picks up the first down. Always try to make sure we spread the love on offense, and that includes our fullback. Though we're going to go for our slot receiver here in Tyreek Hill, who looks for the lane back towards the middle. That will be a solid gain of 6 on the essential tunnel screen. And despite the loss last week, Hill actually probably coming off his best game with us, despite this only being his 3rd game with us. So a lot of room to improve, but it was a great game for him last week as Chuba Hubbard, a little shake and bake, a first down, and Dexter Lawrence a little bit shaken up. Unfortunate for the Giants, but that could open things up for us down the middle as he heads to the locker room. They do still have a really promising young guy there. I want to say 2nd, 3rd year, but he's not Dexter Lawrence, who was a high 90 overall. As we attack right back down the middle, Chuba will pick up 6. Now, ultimately, what would work out great for us is to use all the runs and the short, quick passes to open up a couple pop shots downfield. We're looking for one here to Boston. though the safeties all slide over, so Duggan's having to roll and throw away. Essentially, we've just got to make sure we keep his game clean. So throwaways, try to not take sacks if we could avoid it. That is what we're going to do. But on 3rd and 4, we're going to go with a run play that the right tackle just forgot to block the guy right in front of him. That's going to fall on Jedrick Wills, and Chuba Hubbard probably not too happy about it. But we will have an opportunity to still take a lead as Ford comes out for the field goal, and as he does, he makes it. And considering, again, don't have our starting quarterback, taking lead early on is pretty good as it's a throw knocked out by Newsome. We had a good fair few of those last week. That one intended for Donovan Peoples-Jones. Leaves them with 2nd and 10, maybe, or definitely one more play left here in the first quarter as Saquon, he opens up some space. He punches Brothers and will pick up about another 5. That is one heck of a way to end the first quarter there for the Giants, where it is 3-0 in favor of the home team. And to that point, that was really their only play. Well, that's honestly where we're having to rely on Castaneda as our just all-around starting DT, and, well, Grady Jarrett to make sure they lock things down in the spread. When we come down into the base, we got Bates, a rookie here for us. Hopefully we see him continue to develop. And a game like this is a pretty big one for him to do so, as in our division, we honestly don't face too many top-end running backs. As Stockton, he puts a big hit in on Nzerma, throws off that one to Dotson. And honestly, it's pretty good that he did because Dotson was wide open. Leaves it with a 3rd and 1 in which they go with a little bit of some play action. Here comes Brothers, the rookie safety, sent on the blitz, drops him back at the 43. He's really put together a phenomenal rookie season so far. Really excited to see what he does moving forward. But the Giants will attempt the field goal. It's pulling back straight and bounces in. York will tie the game. Ricochet off the left post and in. Well, so far we've had ourselves a pretty even game as we are back to 3-3. Offense back out for us. They are starting at the 25. Pulling, Chuba, pick up about 5. Actually going to give us 6. And so far we have not seen Dexter Lawrence return, nor do we have an update on him. So we'll try to find that out by halftime. As Chuba Hubbard stretches, looks like he was a little bit gassed there. We'll probably need to rotate for 3rd and inches. But as mentioned towards the top here, at least in our last drive, we're going to see that heavy rotation for the running back spot. Might see a little bit of ball out there as well, though it's Barry with some space. Unfortunately, he got stuck behind Richards. Slowed down maybe about an extra 5 or so yards. Though, kind of hard to complain when you pick up a big first down there on 3rd. Now with that fresh set, we keep with a tight look, though single high safety, and actually no high safety. See if we can use Tyreek Hill's speed to get downfield, put it on him, Duggan, and that's gonna be a quick touchdown for Tyreek Hill as he shows off the athleticism at 34 years of age. And we've got to show a little bit of love for Duggan there as well, putting us up now 10-3. Giants head back out on offense as they start with a play action of their own, rolling and finding Jahan Dotson that time. Looks like we should expect a pretty decent amount of play action from their offense, though the scouting report said that they run more often on early downs. So we'll see if that continues throughout, though. I feel like it's primarily been passing. But we all know scouting reports can often change. So we'll learn to adapt here as we move along as they come out with a heavy look, trying to get Saquon to the outside. A very just patient play there from Saquon will gain some yards. But I've got to say, Brothers having a heck of a game so far today. Getting well stuck in, and he's done so every single game. I'm really glad we chose to start him, as that's a great pass from Nzerma. We'll find former Panther in Chenault Jr., giving him a first down to the 35 as we send a quick blitz. He evades the rush and delivers a beautiful throw and a beautiful touchdown play as Donovan Peoples-Jones takes the half-spinning throw to the end zone. And with that, the battle continues here, back to a tie game, 10-10. Our offense back out starting at the 31. A pretty good return there for us as Chuba Hubbard tried to slip back behind Bobby. Great tackle. I would honestly probably put him and Eric Kendricks in a very similar group of off-ball linebackers that have performed pretty well during their time, but just never quite got the accolades as the pass rush hits, taking away an open throw. And that leaves us behind the chains here on third down. Still at the 34, though we need the 41. And we're looking to go to Chuba Hubbard here, attack their blitzes, which again they often do, and that time not able to push through, leaving 4th and 2. However, the offense is staying out at the 39, risky here before halftime. But they will go with a read option. That's going to be Duggan. He bounces to the outside, a lot of yards as he will get bumped out at the opposite 40. Pre-game, we talked about using his athleticism. We do there on 4th down, and it works out pretty well for us. Barry checks in, and we go nowhere. That is the blitzing we've been referring to. Worked out pretty well there for him as we have about a minute and a half left before halftime. Got an RPO dialed up here, and we will swing it out to Tyreek Hill all the way to the outside. He will pick up the lost yardage, tack on 3 more, and get out of bounds. And after just having a similar play, we're back to a 3rd and 7, this time just further down the field. Got 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Just looking for some simple routes across the middle, and Duggan having to step up. He's going to take the hit, but pick up the first down in the process. Now, ideally would like him to not take some hits because, again, he's our backup quarterback having to start, but in this case, well, we'll take it. Makes a big play here for us as Faust was breaking open, but once again, hit delivered. And that's why we keep having to go to these screen passes to try to back them up a little bit. We got Chuba Hubbard to the left-hand side. We'll set up that screen, and he'll pick up a couple at most. However, still sitting behind the chains as we're approaching 30 seconds left here. We got a 3rd and 9. Trips to the right, 1 to the left. Once again, Bateman down the seam could be a solid option, but they roll the safety. Duggan, he slips one, and he will take contact again, though not breaking away from the tackle of Bobby Okereke. But so far, he's putting in the work here for us. Has us down to the 13. Our 2-minute offense still staying honestly just about as good as it's been for us in the past, despite us missing one of our better players. Then, though, he nearly throws the pick. Not a bad choice in the route to throw to, but he should have went to the first receiver rather than the trailing. 2nd and 10, if we could get Chuba Hubbard to that back left pylon, would look nice. And he has it out there for him, but by the way 57 was running, he knew exactly what play we had drawn up. Would be a real miss to not get a touchdown here before half, considering how well we did get down here. But with a 4th and 10 at the 13 with 10 seconds left, it does look like we will be settling for that field goal. At least give us a lead as we hit halftime. Ford's kick is up and through. And that will conclude what was a really good first quarter, first half battle even. It's 13-10, back and forth, back and forth. Now we did take the lead and we do start the second half with possession as well. So that is all great. And you could also pause the screen here to take a look at your favorite team, see how well they did. But it's time for us to get into our second half. Now I do feel like we got a little bit more pass heavy there, at least more than what I would have liked in that second quarter, mostly because Duggan was feeling pretty good. I just said Duggan again. Duggan. I'm going to keep making that mistake. We're going to get back to the running game a little bit more here. And that's especially going to be the case with how we saw them start to react to those screens at the end of the half. So need to find ways to get that back going. As Chuba Hubbard, beautiful spin move. Not too often he breaks that out. Works well for us, getting us up to the 40. Now on top of getting back to the running game, we're also going to try to introduce a lot more formation variety as well, especially if we're going to be running essentially the same plays. So with that, we're going to go under center. We're going to be going tight. Shotgun, we're probably going to see a good bit as well. Of course, bringing out the heavy sets with Barry as Chuba, just another gain of 1, leaving us with a 3rd and 8. Now where I feel like we could have some decent success here with our receivers is one using Hill's speed downfield, worked out pretty well for us in the first half. But everyone else just going on some crossing patterns, try to pick off someone who's open, as you would hope Boston would attempt to catch that one a little bit more. But it would appear the pass just a little bit too far out in front of him. So it's going to be a turnover then. Giants out for offense, and Stockton is flipping Saquon. Outside of one rush in that first half. Not a whole lot from Saquon. 7 rushes, but most of the yards all came on that one run. As they go back to Saquon, he gets just a hit from Hartwell and falls over. Potentially he was still recovering from that hit from Stockton. Either way, leaves them with a 3rd and 5 in which they will look to throw. Wide open across the middle, and Donovan Peoples-Jones drops it. Must have just been scared of Stockton, but that's a quick 3 and out. So after just about every drive in the first half ending with some type of point, it is nothing to start off this second half. Hopefully we get that back going as Chuba Hubbard, he has some space on the counter. We'll pick up 8. That's definitely a new fold here for the offense. Typically, we don't run too many counters. Might have to introduce that a little bit more as we move along. But Chuba, he gets space to the outside. Puts a juke, though. A beautiful open field tackle there by Joseph. Still ends up being a really good gain for our Panthers offense, but could have been even better. As we now have a bunch to the right-hand side. Gonna send Boston deep, have a couple trailing routes. As we have Faust wide open, and that's why Duggan is a backup quarterback. That very easily should have been a massive gain here for our offense, probably down to around the 10, if not better. Instead, 2nd and 10 as we still sit at the same spot. Pass rush, big hit on the 2nd, and it's going to be recovered by the Giants. I believe Pearson laid that 2nd hit, and he recovered it. Duggan, not too happy. Well, that will be the game's first turnover. Would love our defense to force one as well, as it will be a pass play 1 here for the Giants. Wide open is Saquon, and he will shuck through St. Juice. Will end up picking up 7. But so far have loved the battle between these two teams today. Very evenly matched so far. But who's going to make that final big play, as Saquon is going to pick up the first down, fighting through Edwards. Though if we were to have a matchup between our safeties, I would rather have Brothers on Saquon. He's done pretty well against him so far. 1st and 10. They go back to Saquon, and it's going to be Brothers or no one, and it is Brothers saving the touchdown. But it definitely feels like our defense can use a big play here. A little bit slow this drive. As the Giants down to the 23, they got 3 to the left, 1 to the right. We'll send a blitz. Quick throw. Gonna find Otten as he holds onto it despite the hit. Will end up being a gain of 6 down to the 16. Leaving 2nd and 4. About a minute and a half left here in the 3rd. Another throw for Inzerma as it's downfield and tipped away by St. Just. On top of that, John Michael Schmitz Jr. shaken up. I'd love to see how long the plaque would be for that full name. Hopefully he does bounce back. Looked like it might have been a shoulder injury as he heads to the sideline. 3rd and 4. It is Otten hopping over Brothers for a first down at the 7. And still our defense looking to find their first sack of the day. Though I think Stockton, he's had at least a couple tackles for a loss. We've gotten in the backfield, just nothing major, as Donovan Peoples-Jones nearly finds his 2nd touchdown. It's been a lot of just underneath passing so far for the Giants. A couple plays over the top, but nothing crazy. As they go with Saquon on the toss, that time Edwards gets the best of him. He definitely is not bringing that same physicality that he used to while still having that athleticism as well. The 3rd and goal, they go with a play action fake, and we bit on the handoff. It is Okonkwo into the end zone. And for the first time today, the Giants take the lead. But as the 4th quarter arrives, we played a pretty sloppy 3rd quarter. So let's tighten up the screws and get going in crunch time. We start back at the 25. And of course, it's Chuba Hubbard. Down the middle, he picks up 2. Honestly, we were hoping for a bigger rushing game. Hopefully Chuba Hubbard can make some explosive runs here late on in this one. And as it's Duggan, he's looking for a run, and well, he picks up some yards. He also takes a pretty big hit. But on 3rd and 6, we need him to deliver a good pass, or at least find a running lane, as we got a couple stop routes to the right-hand side. Bateman going deep. We got Chuba as a late option, and he looked to run it, and it's the Giants' defense getting stingy here. They get a 4th and 9 at the 26. We will have to punt. Well, we've got to find a way to start building some momentum as we carried it throughout that first half, but this second half, it's been the Giants so far. As they pass underneath, big hit on Chenault. It's a gain of 3. When you see a hit like that, makes you wonder how long. A former teammate, you've been wanting to do that too, as it's not Saquon. Instead, it's a backup running back getting the run here, and it opens up very well for him. It is Weatherspoon. Those plays like that, we've got to limit here this half. We need to force some big plays ourselves and not let the Giants continually get those. It's a late handoff, and Saquon nearly split the defenders. Still a loss of 3. Now we just need to make sure we build off of that. 2nd and 13. They got a tight single back set here, though, in Zerma. He's making a check. Do they go with a run? Do they go with a pass? They will be passing. As they flood one side of the field, it's thrown late, but goes well out of bounds. Nearly forced Inzerma into a mistake there. Gotta have it here on 3rd. 3rd and 13. They drop to a shotgun look, though still keeping things tight. Will be a throw as they've got several options, and they just get it in between the zones. First down for Donovan Peoples-Jones. And he's definitely been their #1 receiver today. Outside of him, their true receivers, they really haven't done much. It's proud, and we're very lucky that Saquon didn't keep his feet there. Once again, I think that was Stockton who caught an ankle. Keeping it to just a gain of 3, but you haven't seen much from the outside receivers. I got Dotson on him, I think, 1 play, but it's primarily been either the running backs or that should have been a pick. Inzerma threw it straight at Newsome, and I can't finish my original thought process. But for the 3rd time, they've mostly gone to the running backs or their tight end. Occasionally, they've thrown to Chenault, but really it's been Donovan Peoples-Jones. As that time it's Dotson, and maybe that's why they're not throwing his way. He drops the first down at the 41. And once again, they're attempting a field goal from the logo, and this one, he hits a little bit cleaner. But it's now or never here for our offense, as it's 3:30. We're down a touchdown. We haven't done much this second half. We're going to start with a little bit of some play action. Try to get the Giants defense downfield, and can we deliver a clean pass? We've had several opportunities on those mid to deep level throws today. We haven't hit them. So now it's going back to Chuba, though. We open it up for him. That's going to be a first down and close to the 40, getting out of bounds at the 39. But we can't solely rely on running from here on out. We need some passing to work for us. As we go with the screen, they are on that quickly. Bobby Okereke. So who is it that's going to make the big play here for us? We haven't really seen much of Boston today. Duggan hasn't been able to find him. But he's got to find someone. As he rolls, he has Tyreek, but no time to throw. 3rd and long. You can sense there is frustration in the passing game with Duggan, especially with that look he just gave us. Though on 3rd and 13, we need a big play. Press coverage on the outside. We don't get the initial release, though we have Boston breaking open, but he can't throw the accurate pass. It is picked off, and on top of that, Aquanu is shaking up. Looks like it's some back pain. Well, defense, it might just come down to you then. Can you force a touchdown off of a turnover? That would be great. At the minimum, we need a stop. That's a great first play there by Brothers. Now, I do expect they keep, if they do any passing, it's going to be short and quick. But I imagine they go with a little bit more heavy runs as they hand this one off to Dotson, trying to get him at least some momentum, and he actually picks up a good amount of yards on that play. And it leaves them with 3rd and 1. Now, do we send the house and try to just make sure we lock down Barkley? Well, we're going to find out after the 2-minute warning. 20-13, a crucial down here awaits. But with them going in shotgun, I want to make sure we keep some guys back. Does look like they go with the handoff, and Saquon will pick up the first down at the 40. This is already really close to field goal range for them. Honestly, I think this was even about where they hit their previous field goal. Their first one, they doinked off the left bar and in. They made their last one a lot more cleanly. Saquon, he's going to pick up some more yards. Bates ends up getting the tackle, but they pick up 4 yards, now down to the 36. A field goal puts this game away, essentially. As it's Weatherspoon, he's going to pick up a couple more. We are out of timeouts. And on 3rd and 6, we would have to get a stop here for any chance I formation. As they go with a stretch, Brothers will get the tackle at the 36. But in a surprising move, the offense stays out on 4th down. They're trying to just put the dagger in this one, but they're leaving us with an opportunity. As they go to throw, it is caught. First down. The Giants will take this game, and it came through a terrific second half performance. They entirely took away what our offense could have done. And Duggan, we needed more from him. He needed to hit on a few passes today, and he just was not able to. On top of that, we weren't able to get the running game going either. Though really, that was a game of two different halves, right? The first half, very comparable. We had the running game going pretty decently. It was the second half, the offense just could not make those bigger plays that we needed to. Giants, they started making those stops. They took away some of the screen passes, some of the running we weren't getting on early downs, forced us to pass, and, well, we just weren't able to do so. 84 passing yards today from Duggan. We needed more from him. He had a 54.5 QBR, 45% completion, and he missed some very key wide open throws even. It wasn't like they were tight coverage, he just missed wide open throws. Chuba Hubbard, he ends up with 17 carries, 88 yards. It's 5.2 yards per carry. That is good, but when you needed more from it, we just quite didn't have it. Duggan did well on a couple scrambles, but that second half he was well outmatched. So as our next game is against the 0-3, be it Washington Commanders, their defense is 87 overall, and even that, they're not doing too well statistically, but I want to hear what you guys think. Heading into this next game, Duggan, his morale is down after that last one, so technically the overalls between our two quarterbacks that are healthy at least are the same. Should we start Matt Corral? And I will say I was going to put him in the next drive if we got an opportunity on offense, because his throwing might just be that slight bit better to just make at least some of those balls that were missed catchable. Maybe not a lot of yak after it, but something maybe a little bit more there. You're going to sacrifice a little bit of the running ability, but overall I think he might be the better passer. So let me know who you think. Do we start Matt Corral next episode, or do we stick with Max Duggan? Now, at least to end with some good news, we have a breakout DB, and it should be none other than Brothers, our strong safety. He has come in, and he does not look like a rookie. He looks like a true playmaker at safety. Hopefully, that's going to be him. He gets the job done, and he starts seeing some dev boosts because he well deserves it. On top of it, we do also have the media checking in about QB1. Are we going to stick with Duggans? Are we going to go with Corral? Again, let me know down below. And while you're down there, hit bear icon either on the bottom right or the subscribe button down below, and definitely tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, plus the state-only challenge, currently Kentiana, Kentucky and Indiana. We've taken season 5 a little bit slower because that team is starting to feel it. We're rivaling in division here. It's a tight one. So we're into the second half of the season, and we're either going to get through the remainder of that second half next episode, or it might come down to a race, and maybe we'll find out at the end of the week, or at least Thursday, where that season ends up being. Is it done, or do we finally make the playoffs? So don't miss that one, and we'll be back with possibly another new starting quarterback here next time.